Well, this is certainly news to me, and I'm sure to you as well. South Africa is one of the few countries that doesn't have a policy to govern safe food donations. Now, according to a survey by the Consumer Goods Council of SA, 76% of respondents said they would donate food if government provided official guidance on food safety laws for donations. Well, non-profit organisation, Food Forward South Africa, is launching a petition to also end hunger through the introduction of a new policy. Well, let's now bring in Andy Du Plessis, Food Forward SA Managing Director, for more on this. Hello to you, Andy. Appreciate your time on a Saturday evening. There's two issues I'd like to talk about here. First of all, I want to ask about how we don't have a policy to govern food donations. I didn't realize most countries have one. What does that look like?
Absolutely. So countries across Europe and the United States, for example, in the US, they have what's called the Good Samaritan Act, which allows for food donations for surplus food, because the States is one of the countries that has huge amounts of surplus food. In fact, the largest country in the world with the largest amount of surplus food. And these countries like Italy and France that have passed laws, countries like Uruguay, Israel, and that have also passed laws. And that's been with the help of the Harvard Law School's Food Law Project. And the Harvard Law School is also assisting Food Forward SA, trying to get this policy enacted in South Africa. And as you said in your introduction, we don't even have one in a country where close to 30 million people suffer from moderate to severe food insecurity for 1 or 2 weeks every single month, according to the NITS-CRAM report, Gareth.
And how is having a policy like this going to help end hunger?
So one of the huge amounts of restrictions for manufacturers, for example, to donate food is the issue around liability protection. So if someone should get ill because they donated product from the manufacturer, it becomes quite costly for a manufacturer. We know a few years ago we had that listeriosis situation across South Africa. So that's one of the prohibitive factors for why manufacturers do not want to donate food into South Africa. There are also issues around date labeling, and those kinds of issues, which makes it quite difficult for people because they are unsure. And so South Africa has a net surplus of food, so there is enough food. We produce enough food in South Africa to feed all our people. However, because of affordability issues, lots of South Africans just can't afford this. And so we're calling for a food donations policy so that we can get the 10 million tons of food that's lost and wasted every single year. Good food, edible food, but because of supply chain dynamics from farm to fork in the agri sector, manufacturing sector, and in the retail sector, there are huge amounts of surplus food, good edible food that's not good enough to put on the shop shelf to sell, but it's edible and good enough to eat. And what Food Forward, they say, is trying to do is trying to make sure that we unlock and recover and intercept that food before it becomes lost or wasted, so that we can make sure that we address the huge problem of food insecurity across South Africa.
Yeah, with the cost of food and having 10 million tons of food wasted every single year is an astonishing amount. I want to talk, as I end off with you, Andy, tell me about this petition to try and influence a policy. Where do people need to go? And the policy could come into place, but who is that meant to go to in order to effect it as change?
Yeah, so it's a policy that's been put together by Food Forward South Africa, along with the Harvard Law School's Food Law Project, the Consumer Goods Council of South Africa as well, and we are hoping to get the Human Rights Commission and other organizations and interested parties on board to create impetus for this project. So, if people can visit our website at foodforwardsa.org, and on our landing page there are 2 tabs. One is to learn more about food donations and the survey that was conducted amongst Consumer Goods Council of South Africa members around food donations, and the other one is to sign the petition. And we're hoping to get 100,000 signatures so that the National Assembly can discuss this crucial issue, so that we can table a government policy to regulate food donations. And the policy will center around 2 things. One, we want to make sure that there are regulations to manage secure food, in other words, food safety regulations. And the other is liability protection for food donors. Those are the two key issues of the policy recommendations that we put on the table. You can visit foodforwardsa.org for more, and we ask South Africans to please sign the petition because food insecurity affects everybody. Insecure communities affects everybody, and we want to make sure that every South African has good, healthy meals, and it is achievable in our time.
It certainly looks like it is, especially with the research and the numbers that you've given me. Andy du Plessis, thank you very much indeed. I've actually just logged on to foodforwardsa.org /petition as well. So nice and easy for you to go and be a part of this petition as well. 10 million tons of food a year going to waste as well. You can imagine how many people will be able to have a healthy meal, if perhaps not just a meal for the first time in 2 weeks, considering the cost of living in our country and what the cost of food is currently as well. That website again, foodforwardsa.org /petition. We're heading up